everyone. Today I will be making this really nice Gryffindor Harry Potter tumbler. So to get started, I got my cup all ready and took up all of the stickers and paper that were on it. Now if you want, you can sand it down a little bit first before you decide to paint it. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. With this one I didn't need to, but I just use mainly a flat colored spray paint. I feel that it kind of sticks better, and I've been using a red for the bottom. I just do it in little tiny spritz. Don't do long sprays or it'll drip down the side. I did the same thing with this gold color that I used, and I just did this on the bottom part of the tumbler. I'm doing this so whenever I put the glitter on the tumbler, it will give it a much fuller effect and just look a lot nicer. And you won't have to use as much glitter to cover the whole thing. So the first thing I'm going to do is put it on my turner and use some of this Mod Podge here and one of these disposable little foam brushes. I'm just doing it in long strokes across the entire thing. My sponge wasn't really cooperating, so I had to daub it a little bit on to get some of that Mod Podge to really get on. Don't forget to also put Mod Podge on the bottom part of the tumbler, because if you want glitter on there, you need to put Mod Podge on there as well. Now sometimes you have to do a second coat of Mod Podge to make it really stick, but with this I am using a very fine gold glitter for the bottom. I put a piece of paper underneath to catch all of my excess glitter. That way all of it that spills, I can just pour it right back into my container and not waste any of the glitter. And really quick, I had to put a little bit more up on the red because it dried a lot faster than I thought it would with my fan running in here. Now, please be wary, Mod Podge does get really smelly. Please do it in an aired out area like I am. I have my window open, the fan running and everything. Now I'm just going to take that excess glitter that I had, I'm going to pour it in. Now I'm going to do the red on top. I'm going to try and get a little bit of the red through to the gold. I'm not making it an even half gold, half red. Just a good blend of both. I had to always put a little bit more Mod Podge on this top part here, because sometimes the glitter just doesn't really stick that good. I also found that if you take your sponge and you kind of press it and daub it down a little bit harder, you can get more Mod Podge on there. And once you do that, you can really get more glitter on. I always do 2 layers of glitter before I put the resin on, because it just really fills it out a lot more and you don't have any blank spots. Just remember to always keep your extra glitter. You can always save you some if you ever need extra. Just pour it right back in your container. And of course, I'm also doing the bottom as well. To make it a little bit easier, I take the paper of the glitter on the bottom and I just kind of taco it and I pour it onto the bottom. It just makes it a lot easier to pour it on. And then I'm using that excess I was going to put in the container anyways. And of course, I'm also doing a second layer of gold on this just to make it look a lot fuller and just really give it that real good gold glitter effect. Once that is all dry, I mix up a small batch of resin. And usually whenever I do tumblers like this, I just use my gloved hand to put it on nice and evenly. I don't put a really thick layer on for this because the gold and the red is just going to move around a lot. And you don't really need that much to cover these up because after I do this coat, I am going to put on my water slide decal and vinyl on the back, and I'll do a second coat of resin to fill out any of the unsmooth parts. If there's some parts that are really bumpy, you can always sand it down a tiny bit if you need to. I usually end up having to do that because of some like little imperfections or dimples that appear from the resin. But for this one, I would usually do my cups just up and down, but with this being two different colors, I did it separately. So I did the gold and then I did the red, trying to keep the colors a little more in their section as best you can. Doesn't have to be perfect. This is not a perfect cup, but I do like how it turned out. The colors did end up blending a little bit, and I liked how that looked. Of course, don't forget to torch it and get all those bubbles out. Once the resin has fully cured, I added a white decal underneath to make sure it's a lot more solid. Make sure you put a little bit of water on there first before you put your water slide decal on. That just makes it so you can move it around if you need to and adjust it. Make sure to take your time when you're taking out the backing for your picture, because sometimes it can be a little delicate and they can rip. After everything was able to dry from the water slide and I added the vinyl, I put on my last coat of resin here. And as you can see, it turned out absolutely perfect. The extra fine glitter really filled out, especially using 2 layers. And here's the final result. I will be making more tumblers just like these. And if you would like to see more stuff like this, subscribe and I'll see you in the next one.